Hi there, it's Nick Dash back on the camera again one more time. Bit of a response to a video entitled Answers for Venom Fang X by qdragon1337, in which he basically suggests that, there's different ways of looking at morality. Venom Fang X says that there is official, cast in stone morality that one has to obey, which is essentially right, and qdragon basically says, no, that's not the case. qdragon says that we can base our morality based upon, society around us, the views of society, and what's actually happening in a situation, and basically intelligence, reason, and thought. Which, yes, I do agree with to a certain extent, but there's actually positives to both Venom Fang X's argument as well as qdragon's argument. Now, with Venom Fang X, he's suggesting that there should be some kind of solid thing which you can go to all the time, and that essentially dictates stuff. I don't think it should dictate stuff, okay? Because I don't think that anyone has the right to dictate to me precisely what I should do, what I should think, and all the rest of that. That smacks of some kind of intellectual slavery, and I personally think that that's inappropriate behavior. Alright, but on the other hand, a form of guidance would be a different thing. Now, qdragon's perspective was great, but it doesn't really take into account that human beings have emotions such as fear, anxiety, hatred, anger, and all of these things can distort within the mind of the human individual perspectives as to what is right, what is wrong, or what is really happening in any particular situation. And under those circumstances, that's where some form of guidance can come into effect. Now, recently I watched on TV, I think it was Moby Dick, that's right. And Moby Dick is a great story because it speaks about obsession and the dangers of being obsessionable. Okay? That's what the story is really about. That's what the character of Captain Ahab is about. Now, I don't know if you in the studio audience, so to speak, you the viewers of this video, have ever had a moment when you've been truly obsessional about something and it needed just an extra bit of wisdom or guidance just to put you right back on track so that you could then take a breath of fresh air, look at the situation more objectively, and try and do the next right thing. Now, that form of wisdom or guidance could have come from a friend, or it could have come from a book, it could have come from a movie, it could have come from anything. But essentially, you may have actually needed that guidance to be able to help you to start seeing perspective. Now, if what qdragon was saying was correct, every single human being on the face of the planet would have to be pure and perfect objective reasoning machines, which basically we are not, because we have emotions and we build up associations with emotions, and to a great extent humans think in terms of emotions. I saw a program a while ago which was talking about the fact that your gut, the human gut, actually has a nervous system that connects to your brain and your thought processes. And it works in terms of associations. Alright, so there was, one lady was given a glass of apple juice and a chocolate bar. A beautiful chocolate bar, beautiful glass of apple juice. And was told, okay, now you can drink the apple juice and eat the chocolate. So she does that, and then the scientist says, now, I'm going to offer you the same, but with some slight differences. And he provides precisely the same chocolate, but it's in the shape of a dog turd. Alright, sitting there on the plate in the shape of a dog turd, looking just like, one of the most icky dog turds you've ever seen, but it's still precisely the same ingredients, still cooked in precisely the same way, but it looks like dog shit, okay? And in the other glass, on the other side of things, there's the glass of apple juice, perfectly identical, but it's got a dead cricket which has been put in it, but the dead cricket has been sterilized completely, alright, dried completely, so there's no likelihood that there's any chemicals from the cricket to actually get into the apple juice itself. And now the experimenter says, same chocolate, same apple juice, drink and eat. And the subject says, no. Because there's an emotional reaction. It's completely illogical, completely irrational, because there's no harm that's going to come to her through drinking that apple juice or eating that chocolate. But there's an association, an emotional association, based upon just the shape that the chocolate bar is in, and just the fact that there is something which looks icky in the apple juice. Alright, because humans don't just operate purely upon reasoned thought. We have problems in that respect. And that can happen in all kinds of different areas of life. And for that reason, forms of guidance and sources of guidance which are culturally defined could actually be quite useful. Whether it's the I Ching, whether it's the morality of the runic letters and the runic alphabet, or some of the more seasonal wisdom of paganism, or whether it is the New and Old Testament of the Bible, or indeed the Quran and all the rest of that. Venom Fang X has made the mistake of saying that this is concrete, you must obey it. That's wrong. Humans don't work well with that. Okay, and those who do they're not the best quality of humans, to be honest, okay? But on qdragon's side of things, he hasn't taken into account this like emotional dimension of human cognition and also of human morality. Alright, thinking about the kind of people you should like or you should hate and all the rest of that. It comes from your heart, your emotions, your gut instinct, the associations built up over time. And these things are not necessarily defined purely by objective reason, the standards of society and all the rest of that. It just isn't there. Alright? Now it's possible that we've developed this capacity to build associations as a result of evolution. Because that's how we distinguish good food from bad food and the rest of it. That's why we've got a tongue, so that we can taste when food is rotten and that we shouldn't be eating it. Okay, it's a form of preservation rather than just to help you to enjoy food which tastes good. So my interpretation is that an objective morality could be useful at times, but it should not be cast in stone. My other point is that our reasoning ability is great, but it's not perfect because we are not perfect reasoning beings. We have to learn to do that, and sometimes we can do it with reflection to things which are culturally defined and cast in stone. It's a bit of both, really. So you're both wrong, in my humble opinion.